Click that. Perfect. All right. Well, I'm really excited to have my colleague Jessica join us today. She's going to be driving most of the presentation, and I'll let her introduce herself. But Jessica's representing Virtual Internship, a brand new partner for UIC. We're very excited to collaborate with them to bring their virtual internship programs to you. So with that, Jessica, I pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining to learn more about the Virtual Internships program, specifically for UIC this summer and fall. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can follow along. Can everybody see that okay?
I can on my.
All right, so again, this is for the summer and fall programs with virtual internships for UIC. That's me, Jessica Rutkowski. I'm the Partnerships Account Manager with Virtual Internships. So I'll be providing some support throughout the program and for both the summer and the fall. So what is a virtual internship? I know that it's become more and more popular, especially because of the pandemic, but remote work the trend towards remote work was becoming more and more prevalent even before the global pandemic, with 60% of employers allowing their employees to work from home at least one day per week. So this opportunity is really an opportunity for you to be able to gain insights into what it's like to really work inside an organization and to gain insights into the future of work, which is looking more and more like it will be remote work. It's also an opportunity for you to increase your professional development skills and enhance your employability to be able to add new items to your resume and skills to show off to future employers. And just like any other type of internship, domestic, in person, it will be a challenging experience and allow for you to get a sense of flexible working hours, to increase your communication and your initiative skills as well. And so virtual internships provides this opportunity to you through a really holistic program model, meaning that we provide a lot of robust support for you throughout your program. So first and foremost, we provide you with a guaranteed internship placement in your chosen career field. We also provide an online curriculum called CareerBridge to help assist you throughout your program, to help you refine some of your communication skills, teamwork and collaboration, and to really be there for you as a support system and guide throughout your program. We'll also invite you to weekly events. We host a lot of employability webinars featuring guest speakers from all over the world. And we do have weekly networking group discussions so that you can meet some of your fellow interns from around the world. You'll be invited to 2 coaching sessions throughout with one of our internship coaches to really help you unpack your professional development experience so far and to help you set goals for yourself. And then you'll be able to walk away from this experience with a career management plan to help you move forward in your career. And throughout the program, as I mentioned, you'll have a lot of support systems and people who will be there for you. So I just wanted to take a time to point out who they are and distinguish what their roles are, so that way you know who to go to throughout your program. Your first point of contact will be your intern experience manager, and they will be your main point of contact at Virtual Internships. They'll be there to help you if you have any problems or questions throughout the program. They'll be able to direct you to the events that we host, and we'll be able to provide CareerBridge support for you as well. You'll also have your host company supervisor, who will be your main point of contact at your host company, and will of course be the ones giving you projects each week, new assignments, feedback, and more. And then lastly, you'll also have your internship coach, who I mentioned in the previous slide, who will be available for 2 calls throughout your program, one at the midpoint and one at the completion of your program, and will be there to provide professional development support and guidance for you. So for UIC, there are two programs running, one in the summer and one in the fall, and they do have specific start and end dates. For the summer, it will begin on Monday, June 21st and complete on Friday, August 13th. It is a 2-month program, so 8 weeks, and you'll have the option to work either 20 or 30 hours per week. The price for the program is $1,195, and what that includes, again, is the guaranteed placement, the full-time support from our staff, access to the exclusive virtual events, and our online curriculum, CareerBridge. And how the payment for the program works is it's in 2 installments. So there is an acceptance fee due on May 21st. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. And it is $750. And this confirms your acceptance onto the program. And it is what kickstarts your placement process, where our team will reach out to our host companies to find you a placement. And then the remainder of the program fee is due once you have a confirmed placement and before you start your internship program.
Jessica, if I can just jump in with a couple of points on this slide. I would add that the price also does include the credits that you might be able to receive at UIC. So basically, some students can get approved to receive academic credit for completing this internship. For instance, we've already worked with the College of Business to pre-approve this experience to count as general elective credit. So instead of paying tuition, you can think of the program fee as covering that for you. With regards to the tight turnaround for the acceptance fee, we know there's not a lot of time, and Virtual Internships has graciously agreed to accept financial aid deferment forms. And so I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on, but just know that if you are hoping to use financial aid for this program, that may be a possibility. And if you expect to receive summer aid, you could complete an agreement letter with Virtual Internship to kind of preempt the financial aid that you'll receive. But again, I'll cover that a little bit later on.
Thanks, Kyle. All right, and so then for the fall, it's a little bit different. It starts on Monday, August 30th and ends on Friday, November 19th. And this is a 12-week program. That's because it is running in conjunction with your fall semester. So you'll only be expected to work 10 hours per week. And the price and inclusions are all the same for the fall program, just different due dates. So the acceptance fee will be due on July 19th. And again, the remainder of your fee will be due once you have a confirmed placement. We do have a withdrawal or refund policy. So in the application, there is a box where you'll have to check that you have read and agreed to Virtual Internships terms and conditions. So you can read all of them there, and this is also linked if the slides get sent out afterwards. But I just wanted to highlight the main refund policy, and that is if you decide to withdraw from the program within 2 weeks of paying your acceptance fee, but you have not yet accepted a placement with a host organization, then you will receive a 50% refund of the acceptance fee. If you cancel your program more than 2 weeks after paying the acceptance fee and you still have not yet accepted a placement, you'll receive a 25% refund of your acceptance fee. And if you cancel your program after you already have a confirmed placement with a host organization, then you will not receive any refund or the remainder of the program fee, except for extenuating circumstances, which are outlined in the terms and conditions. And I'll pass it over to Kyle to go over the next few slides.
All right, so we're going to talk more about the exciting features of this program, but first I wanted to just cover the application process, and you can think of it in 2 parts. The first part, you would start actually with UIC Study Abroad office, so that's my office, and it starts by you simply scheduling a virtual appointment with me, and you have my email address right there on the screen, so you can simply send me an email and let me know your availability, and we'll get a call scheduled. And during that call, we'll just kind of review the basic program information, and I'll walk you through our application forms. So our application forms consist of an application packet. It's a PDF packet, and you could probably knock that out, I'd say, in 20 to 30 minutes. It's not very long or cumbersome at all. It mainly asks for some basic demographic information and asks you to read some of our policies and sign those. The next thing that you would complete is something called a course approval form, and we would walk you through this, but it's a form that you complete with your academic advisor. And basically, it's what lets you potentially receive approval to receive academic credit for this experience. So again, if you are a student with the College of Business, we've already worked ahead of time to get this program reviewed by them, and it will count as general elective credit. But no worries, if you're not a College of Business student, we can help have those conversations with your advisor to see what sort of credit this would count for. And then the last option I put here is we will prepare a budget sheet for you that you can then take to the financial aid office. We have a really great colleague over there who works with all of our students. And what they will do is if you have a current FAFSA on file, they can pull up your record and change your cost of attendance and adjust it to reflect your participation in this program. And they'll let you know if you have any grants or loans that you might be able to use to help offset the cost of the program. Now, again, for summer, that first initial payment's coming up soon. So if you are thinking of doing the program for summer and you know you would need to use financial aid to help afford it, then you'll really want to get moving on this quickly, because what we'll do is we'll get a financial aid award letter from the Office of Financial Aid, and we'll send that to Virtual Internships. And that could count as your initial payment until your financial aid is dispersed later this summer. An important factor is just to know that if you do submit that financial aid award letter, that's basically the same as if you were paying that deposit. So you would still be subject to all the terms and conditions. So we can talk about that more on a one-on-one basis if you want to, just make sure you have a good understanding of that. But just know that you can use federal financial aid to help cover the cost of this program. Unfortunately, in terms of scholarships, the scholarship deadlines passed earlier this semester, but if you're on this call and thinking about a virtual internship down the road for maybe spring or next summer, I would expect that there might be some limited scholarship opportunities for those terms coming down the pipeline. All right, back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. All right, so then once you complete UIC's application process, you can then begin the virtual internships application process. And it is a two-step process. So the first is to submit an application form. It's very brief. It just gives us an idea of what your internship preferences are, what career field you want to choose, and where your location preferences are. And then once you submit that, you'll be prompted to record a video application. And this is, it can be related to a cover letter or a personal statement. It's really an opportunity for you to go a little bit deeper into what your career goals and interests are. So that way our team can get to know you better and find the best possible placement for you. And we also show your final video to potential host companies as a way to introduce you. And then if they, are interested in setting up a formal interview, our team will coordinate with them to do that. So for the summer program, both steps of the application process are due on May 21st, along with your acceptance fee. And if you're looking for the fall program, the application process and your acceptance fee will be due on July 19th. So again, the application form is for us to, get your contact details, your university details, your placement preferences, and you'll also be asked to upload your resume or your CV, and you can find the application at virtualinternships.com. Here are 18 different career fields that we offer. So you can see they do encompass most majors and career pathways. We're happy to send over any examples or more information about each of our career fields. So if you do have any questions about which one might be right for you, don't hesitate to reach out. And then the video application, again, this is an opportunity for you to tell us more about yourself so that we can find the best fit for you in terms of a host company placement. And now getting into your actual program experience. So once you complete your application process, you will begin what we call our linear placement process. And what that means is that we will only introduce you to one company at a time. And so our company experience managers, as well as your intern experience manager, will be in direct contact with you about setting up a formal interview with one of our host companies. So it's really important that you check your emails regularly throughout this process, and that you respond promptly to all emails and make yourself available for potential interviews. And again, you're only introduced to one company at a time. So you do have the opportunity to turn down a placement if you don't feel it's the right fit for you. But at that point, we would just ask that you have a formal conversation with your intern experience manager to really outline why you don't feel it's a good fit for you. So that way we can move on to the next host company and get it right. So some example of placements that you may be offered are a digital marketing intern, so supporting a company with their various marketing strategies, either inbound or outbound, content development, email marketing, possibly even supporting events, which at this point would be virtual events, and more. Or you could be placed as a data analyst intern working in Google Analytics, analyzing user behaviors, using databases, and other optimization tools. So these are just, two very specific examples, but as I mentioned before, we have 18 different career fields, so all of our placements look very different. And a little bit more on CareerBridge. So this is the professional development curriculum that we have all online. It's catered around the NACE Career Readiness Competencies. NACE stands for the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they have a list of career readiness competencies that they feel all university students should have before they enter into the workforce. So it is about 10 to 12 hours of curriculum designed to assist you before your internship, during it, and then afterwards. It is completely optional. It's not mandatory to complete the program. So you can pick and choose courses as you see fit. If you feel comfortable on one area but need to work on another one, you can, jump around a little bit throughout. But we do highly encourage it, as we think it's really beneficial for you to really excel at your internship. And some of the other support that we offer that I mentioned are the weekly group discussions. So we use Slack, which is actually a really common workplace communication tool. So an added benefit of learning a digital technology tool. But all of our interns from around the world are invited. We hold them each week. It's an opportunity for you to network with one another. You can discuss some of the common challenges or successes that you're having and ask questions, as our intern experience managers will be there and will help kind of facilitate the conversation. And then about every month we do hold employability webinars. So some of the past topics were bringing initiative into the workplace, starting a global career, and creating SMART goals. And they usually feature a professional from around the world, so they can bring in their own experience and insights and share with you, and also help you build more connections that way. And then finally, the internship coaching. So you'll have the midpoint check-in call to discuss how everything's been going so far, what skills you're learning, are there any gaps in your skill development? And they'll help you work through a plan to make sure the rest of your internship is really successful. And then the final coaching call is where you will create your career management plan to look forward to the future. And these calls, as a way to prepare, be sure to complete the self-assessments that we send out and to utilize CareerBridge. And then to wrap up, I just have a couple tips for success throughout your internship program. The first one is to start thinking about what your goals for the internship are and to really define them. So what is it that you want to learn? What skills do you want to develop? And what are your future career goals? What do you hope to do once you graduate? And don't be shy to then communicate this with your supervisor. Even during your interview, I feel that a lot of our supervisors are very good about tailoring the internship experience to the specific student. So they will often ask you these questions. So start thinking about them now so that way you can make the most out of this experience. The second tip is to make sure that you show some initiative. This is, really important throughout any type of internship, but especially in a virtual one where you're not in an office, you don't have coworkers around you, and your supervisor can just, pop in and ask you for stuff. So it's really important to show that initiative. So reach out to your supervisor before your first day. You should have a confirmed placement about 1 to 3 weeks before your start date. So you have plenty of time to reach out to them and kind of get set up with a schedule. Know when you're going to meet with them on your first day, kind of make sure you get into that groove even before your internship starts. That way you don't waste any time. And then once you start feeling more comfortable throughout the program, reach out and ask how you can support. Don't always wait for your supervisor to message you because they get busy, and it's really just a two-way street. And even start to express your opinions and make suggestions once you feel more comfortable in your role. And then finally, communication is key. Again, this is a two-way street, so don't wait always for your supervisor to reach out to you. Be open and transparent with your supervisor about what you're doing, what you're working on, if you're having any challenges. So be sure to check in with them every day so that they know what you're up to, and don't be afraid to ask questions or for more clarification if it's needed. And then some resources that we have for you as you prepare for your virtual internship is we have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel about tips for success. And we have a lot of blog posts too about how you can effectively manage your time, and other tips and resources. So be sure to check those out, as I think they'll be really helpful for you in preparing.
Great.
And now I will be more than happy to answer any questions from everyone. I do have some FAQs here, but I would love to first answer any specific questions that any of you might have.
Thanks, Jessica. And while we wait for those questions to come in, feel free to put them in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that. But maybe I can pose the first question, since we're talking about virtual international internships. Can you say a little bit about where in the world students can intern? There's a really exciting reason why we decided to partner with you all, and I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have host companies in about 70 different countries worldwide. So some of the most popular locations are China, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. We have a lot more now in Europe than we used to before. So the UK is definitely really popular, as well as Germany. So oh, and even in Africa, we do now have a lot of host companies in Africa. So really, I guess the sky's the limit. It depends on what your personal interests are. How it works on our application is that you're guaranteed the placement in your chosen career field, and then you have the opportunity to rank your location preferences with your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice. And our team tries really hard to get your placement in one of those three, but it can depend on your career field. Sometimes the placements for a certain career field are just better in one location, or we have more of them in another location, but we do really try hard to take your preferences into consideration.
Wonderful. Yeah, the sheer breadth of location possibilities was an exciting reason we were eager to partner. So that's great that our students have that now. Right, well, I haven't seen any questions come in yet. Again, please feel free to let us know anything you'd like to know more about. What about destinations? Does anyone have a country of interest in mind? You can throw that in the chat. It'd be interesting to see where people are thinking. One question, Jessica, I know sometimes comes up with these opportunities is about language ability. Can you comment about if interns must speak a foreign language in order to complete an internship?
That's a great question. Yeah, so we guarantee all of our placements in English. All of our host companies have an English speaking supervisor. So the language, there shouldn't be a language barrier. However, if you are proficient in Mandarin or French, that can certainly benefit you and it may open up some more opportunities for you, but it is not a requirement by any means.
Thank you. All right, got a couple of questions that came in, so I'll ask them and see if you can respond. So the first question is, are students that are placed with companies for internships having success in finding full-time employment after the program?
Absolutely. So, this is not something that we guarantee, but about 20% of our interns are actually offered a full-time position after their program, either, right away as to extend their internship program, or maybe after they graduate, they'll offer them employment. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, it's not something that we can guarantee, but our interns have been very successful in that manner.
And I also know, just from looking at data from other virtual internship organizations, and I think a report that you all put out too, that students who complete a virtual internship are often more competitive in the job market after they graduate. So even if you're not offered a full-time gig at the place you interned, chances are this experience will greatly help you in your job search with other organizations.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question. I'm going to be graduating this summer term and was wondering if I'm still eligible for the program in the fall, if I'll be a non-UIC student by that time. So in that case, I believe you would be eligible to apply directly to virtual internships. Is that correct, Jessica?
That is correct. We do take, or a lot of recent graduates apply for our program as a way to, gain more experience before entering into the workforce full time. So you can absolutely do that as an individual rather than a university student.
Excellent. In that case, Edwin, you wouldn't need to worry about UIC's application process. You could just get in touch with Virtual Internship. And it's worth noting that I believe they have start dates every 2 weeks, so you probably could find a time frame that works with your schedule.
That's correct. Our programs run year round, so we have lots of start dates.
I like the last question you have on your FAQs. Maybe we can hear and answer that. What if you end up not liking your company or your supervisor? What happens there?
Absolutely. So that it does happen sometimes. You may have some challenges communicating with your supervisor because there is the cultural difference, there's a time difference. Maybe you're not satisfied with some of the projects that you're working on. So in that case, we would encourage you to reach out to your intern experience manager as soon as possible. So that way we can provide support and guidance for you. We're able to, have a formal conversation with your supervisor to kind of get their perspective on the situation. We can arrange for you to have a more formal conversation with your supervisor about maybe what your interests and goals are and see if there's a way for us to accommodate some new projects for you to work on. In severe cases, we will, if it's just there's something that wasn't able to be resolved, we are able to move your placement to a new host company to make sure that you are getting a positive and valuable experience. We never want you to, suffer through the experience. We can, there are options for you.
And I think that's one of the great selling points of programs like these, is that instead of you independently doing an internship and navigating some of these issues that could come up, you have a full support system between UIC and Virtual Internship to kind of help you navigate those conversations. Good news is, in my experience, most students end up not having any major issues that can't be resolved just through effective communication, and most students have a positive experience with their supervisor. I think it's just important that your attitude that you bring to the internship, that you are flexible, adaptable, and that's really what this experience is designed to help you with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the most common issue that we see with students occurs maybe within their first or second week of their internship program. They're not used to, being in charge of their own work schedule. There are times when you and your supervisor will agree on when you're going to have a meeting, when you're going to be available to each other so that you can ask questions. But for the most part, you will be responsible for managing your own time, and you will have to take the initiative to reach out to your supervisor if you need anything, if you have a question, if you finished your project and you're ready to move on. So, kind of getting into that groove, it can be challenging for some students. So, something to be aware of. And that's why we, really encourage you to try and reach out to your supervisor ahead of time so that way you can get ahead of that curve.
Wonderful. Well, I'll see if any other questions come in as I wrap this up. Feel free to put your last questions in, but I just want to maybe wrap up by sharing a personal experience that I did complete an international internship when I was a student. Mine was face-to-face, but I've also completed a virtual internship way before they were the popular thing to do. And what I can say about internships in general is they are really a fantastic vehicle for you to try a career field on for size before committing to a lifelong career. And for instance, my first internship occurred with the British Parliament in London, England. And it was at a time where I was trying to decide, should I go to grad school, to go for a career in politics or not. So I did this experience, and it was phenomenal for so many reasons, but ultimately it showed me I did not have a passion for politics like I thought, and how valuable that was for me to really clarify my future career goals. And at the end of the experience, I walked away with a letter of recommendation from a member of parliament. So the other thing I think you want to be thinking about is how these opportunities can set you up for your future career success. This is absolutely something you'll be able to list on a resume. You'll be able to, if you do well in your internship, get a letter of support from your supervisor. And with the additional career coaching resources Virtual Internship provides, you'll have a really nice foundation to continue growing your career. Looks like another question came through. Can students be placed in a US-based company? Jessica.
We do have US opportunities, but actually that might be a question for Kyle. I don't know if students are receiving credit, if there are any stipulations with where placements, if they need to be international or if they can be in the US.
Yeah, we would just run that by your home college or school. So that again would be something we would run by your academic advisor. But in principle, I don't imagine that would create too many complications for most majors. I did remember one last thing before we end this that I wanted to bring up. I'm not sure if we have any international students on the call, but from past webinars on this topic, we have had a number of international students interested in participating, and that is great, and we want to support that. What we have learned from the Office of International Services is that international students would just need to complete a process called CPT, which I believe stands for curricular practical training, and there's a whole form that OIS would work with you on. Jessica, I don't know, have your colleagues had any experience supporting US international students through this process?
We have, yeah. So very familiar with the process. I know that you'll need some information from us in order to complete the form. So again, your intern experience manager will be there to fully support you with whatever you need for your CPT approval.
Excellent. All right, with that, I'm just gonna pop in my email address in the chat one last time. If you're interested in discussing this opportunity more and potentially applying for the summer or fall, we're ready to work with you. So just send me an email with your availability and we can get something scheduled. Once Jessica, actually I do have a copy of the slides already because we are using Google Slides. So I will download those and I'll send them out to everyone who registered along with the recording once it's available. So you'll be able to reference this at your leisure as well. So with that, I hope you'll join me in just giving a virtual round of applause to Jessica. I really appreciate you helping put this together on admittedly short notice on my part. So thank you for making time for us at UIC.
Of course, it was my pleasure. Thank you, Kyle, for allowing me the opportunity to.
All right, with that, we will let you back to your days. I hope you have a good afternoon or morning, depending on where you're at, and a good start to summer. And I look forward to seeing some applications from y'all. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.